Would you watch a show where a child is being filmed, broadcasted, and worshipped all over the world 24/7 without their knowledge or consent? If the child knew, would they even be able to consent? The Truman Show was ahead of its time for many reasons, so we need to talk about it. Let's start at the beginning of this masterpiece. And I don't use that word lightly. I've never met someone in my entire life who has seen this movie and not felt transformed or deeply moved in some way. And so much of it has to do with the performance of none other than Paul Giamatti.
How she blows.
Oh, no, wait, that's just my favorite performance of the film. The actual star of the film is some guy named Jim Carrey. I'm kidding, obviously. Jim Carrey is an actor that has such a reputation to him. Somewhat of a shapeshifter, a chameleon of sorts in the actor world. No one can contort their face and body like Jim Carrey can. And this made him the undisputed king of physical comedy in the 1990s.
No ordinary face in the crowd. 21-year-old Jim Carrey. He's already being compared to superstars like Johnny Carson and Robin Williams.
I didn't know until like a year ago that was different than everybody else. That's what my special thing is, I guess, is that I'm weird. I'm rubber.
With that being said, Jim Carrey completely changed narratives and completely transformed himself in this role, being the first serious tone shift of his career thus far.
But Truman was different. Truman was a turn from that.
Yeah, sure.
We accept the reality with which we're presented.
Out, Jim Carrey has revisited this sort of sophisticated, serious tone of movie, and he's done a really great job. But this is where it all started. So I think this is such a beautiful piece of art when you look at all the movies of his career. And no other character shows that quite like Truman Burbank. We meet Truman in his bathroom, a very uncomfortable place to meet anyone. Universally, this is a place that's respected for its privacy. And yet we see immediately that this rule does not extend to Truman. This is such a genius way to frame this first introduction of us to Truman. In such a jarring way, it depicts Truman as more of a product than a human being. Before we meet him, we were also introduced to a wide range of cast members in this world that we are introduced to. To him, it's his family and friends. It's his wife, Meryl. It's his mother. It's his best friend, Marlon. And as we're meeting them, they have credits on screen showing their real names versus their Truman's World names. And we immediately see this is the fourth wall break. We are seeing these actors show who they really are outside of this constructed, manufactured world that is Truman's only reality. We are immediately keyed in on the fact that there is an inside, and Truman is left out. And the icing on top of this amazing introduction, and something that might not hit as hard the first time you watch it, is that through this opening sequence, the only person listed as himself is Truman. He's the only person that isn't keyed in on the fact that he should be performing because he's in front of a live audience. Truman expresses early on in the movie's runtime that he desires to see more.
Assistance for Fiji, please. Fiji Islands.
You know, I'm thinking about getting out, Marlon.
You can't get any further away before you start coming back.
He wants out of the bubble he was born into, but it seems like he's doomed from the start. He lives in a place that, unknowingly to him, will kill off people he loves and that are close to him to keep him on this island, to keep him from wanting to leave. This was manufactured completely to instill an inherent phobia of water. And we see this all over in Truman's life. We see this when his work asks him to take a trip on the ferry to go reach a client off of the island, and he can't even make it onto the boat. The show even manufactured like a half-sunken boat on his way to the ferry. And it just goes to show how they're manufacturing every facet of his life to validate this fear for him, giving him as many reasons as possible to latch on to this phobia. Other times, this world has tried to encourage him not to leave. Meryl telling him all of the financial reasons that they can't escape from the small town they live in.
We have mortgage payments, Truman. We have car payments. What, we're just going to walk away from our financial obligations?
It would be an adventure.
And what, Truman? We'd be where we were 5 years ago.
The woman who's supposed to book his flight for him tells him that there are no flights for at least a month.
A month?
That may not be that crazy, but the poster on the wall is. There is no excuse for that. There seem to be roadblocks in every possible avenue he tries to escape.
Everybody off.
Meryl wants a baby.
I thought we were going to try for a baby.
This has our man rethinking why he's with her in the first place, and it leads to a flashback. The answer why he ended up with the wrong woman is gaslighting. Gaslight, gaslight, gaslight. Sylvia was an organic love interest for Truman. The producers did not manufacture her, therefore they tried to write her out of the story in real time. There's so much trying to rewrite the very real things that Truman is experiencing and seeing, manufacturing a different reality for him to believe, and not accepting anything less than. Truman has a realization moment, and we see that the jig is up. When just as Truman was getting suspicious of things around him, his dead father shows up.
Dad?
Everyone around Truman tries to tell him that he's not seeing what he thinks he's seeing.
Doesn't sound insane at all, Truman. You're just feeling bad because of what happened.
He saw some homeless man, and the reason he was rushed off as soon as he made contact with this man that looks just like his father isn't because it's the actor who snuck onto the film set. It's because this homeless man was crowding the street. Nothing about this makes sense, and Truman isn't blindly accepting this reality anymore. In order to take back control, the powers that be in this world decide to use it towards their advantage, or at least they hope that they can use it towards their advantage. We see Marlon, who honestly seems to be Truman's most trusted person in his life. Truman feels extremely comfortable with Marlon, enough to tell him that he does think that he's being filmed against his will and that almost everyone's in on it, and he just doesn't believe that Marlon could do that to him.
Tell you about it later. I'm definitely being followed.
Who? It's hard to tell. They look just like regular people. We gotta get out of here.
This foundation of trust builds as when Truman and Meryl have a falling out, a well-deserved falling out, I might add, he lets his guard down with Marlon, reminiscing on past memories, and he hears him out with what he has to say.
I mean, think about it, Truman. If everybody is in on it, I'd have to be in on it too.
And during this conversation, we see for the first time Christoph directly feeding lines to someone in Truman's life.
I'd gladly walk in front of traffic for you.
Point is, I would gladly step in front of traffic for you, Truman.
Last thing I'd ever do is lie to you.
And the last thing that I would ever do is lie to you.
He is directly manufacturing relationships, conversations, influencing Truman's life in a way that I'm sure Truman never thought was possible. This conversation leads to the big reveal that Marlon found Truman's dad for him. It was him who went out of his way to find the truth.
Go to him.
And I think we as the viewers are kind of suspicious as to why Truman would believe this. Truman has been extremely suspicious up until this point, and none other than Marlon, the man that he trusts more than anyone else in this world, is telling him that he found him for Truman, only right after being gaslit by everyone in his life, that his father wasn't alive, that wasn't his father, it was just some random person. We see Truman go in for A tear-filled, awe-stricken moment of profound realization, love, reconnection, and something about it seems a little off. We see the audience cheering and clapping and rejoicing. We see Christoph and everyone who helps him manufacture this show rejoicing at the most joyous, emotion-filled moment that they had seen in the show thus far. And then it hits you. This isn't a happy moment for Truman. Well, maybe it is, but not in the way that Christoph wanted it to be. This is the moment where Christoph felt like he finally regained control of Truman. He had him exactly where he thought he wanted him. But if you look at Truman and you think about the journey he's been going through so far, you realize this is his breaking point. This is the moment he realized that everything was a farce. None of it was real. Marlon, the last person that he trusted, just proved to him that he was in on this act too. Truman is happy in this moment because he's finally found the key to break the shackles that are holding him in this manufactured, stale reality. He's in on it now. He's not just a part of some bigger picture. He is the big picture. So Truman can finally be in on the game. He says what he knows the audience wants to hear. He gives the reaction that he knows is appropriate for what the audience is watching right now. He's no longer a toy for Christoph to play with. He's not embracing this man because he's his father. He's embracing this man because he's not. Now he has the freedom and even authority to detach from this world and to plan an escape. Christoph may be rejoicing up in that moon, but they just handed him his exit cue. Now that Truman is armed with the truth, he's ready to plan his escape. After every avenue has been sabotaged in his escape attempts, with flights being indefinitely unavailable, a bus being spontaneously broken down before they even switch gears, and a nuclear power plant leaking into the road, leading Truman to be forcefully thrown back into his jail cell or house. He knows now what he has to do. He has to do something that nobody would think he would. He has to be completely unpredictable to a group, a world of people that have been watching him since he was born. He has to overcome his phobia of water. Next time we see Truman, he seems to be phoning it up for the cameras. He's much more animated than we've ever seen him. What was once a genuine naivete seems to now be an ironic, begrudgingly sarcastic tone.
That one's for free.
It seems like, for the first time, he hates everyone around him because they are in on it, and for the longest time, they never let him be in on it. Back at the broadcasting room, it's now nighttime. Christoph comes in, and everyone's on high alert. He immediately tells them that spontaneous behavior should always be reported, and through some digging, they find out that Truman actually escaped. And he wasn't in the room at all while they thought he was sleeping. The manhunt is now in pursuit. Everyone here is so desperate to find him, even Christoph, that he now doesn't care if Truman knows what's going on. He just wants control back. There's a bit of humor in this moment for us as the viewers because we finally see these actors break this fourth wall in real time, each thinking that they're the person who could bring Truman back, that they have enough trust with Truman to get him to come back to this disgusting world that he's been trapped in his whole life.
If you could just hear my voice.
His mom's the worst one. I'm like, girl, you pretending to be someone's mother for their whole life and you think that they're going to trust you now? That's insane. That's insane. They ended up having to pause the show while this manhunt was looking for Truman. And this is big. This is something that's never happened before, and everybody's reacting to it negatively, of course.
Oh, Jesus, God in heaven.
What the hell?
Kristoff has the idea to look where no one thought was possible for Truman to be, in the water.
Where are you going?
Isn't he terrified of the water?
He's sailing for the first time since that tragic event where he thought he lost his father. Ironically, giving him his father back seemed to be cathartic in a way, leading him to be able to face his fear of water, something that Kristoff thought would keep him where he wanted him, actually gave him the cue to leave. He's sailing and feeling the fresh air on his skin when he pulls out his North Star, a Frankenstein photo of Sylvia, his one and only tether to what has to be the real world out there. Not soon after they find him, they start sabotaging his plans of escape. They weather his sails and try to tear his hope and throw it into the water. Kristoff is angry with Truman. He's willing to kill him for his obedience.
We can't let him die in front of a live audience.
He was born in front of a live audience.
But Truman is unwavering. He fights against a god he can't see.
You're gonna have to kill me! He's gonna drown, he doesn't even care. Do it! Do it!
He's so determined for the truth that he admits he'd rather die than serve this life that he didn't choose to live. Kristoff's disposition softens only after nearly killing him with manufactured weather. He's finally releasing his grip. The clouds separate, the sun comes out, Truman regains his strength, and he lifts his sails. Despite being literally struck by God multiple times, Truman is persistent in his pursuit of freedom. Every obstacle they throw in his way now serves only as a stark reminder to him that he needs to leave. Truman reaches the edge of the world. In fact, his boat pierces through the sky. He cries out of anger, relief, and undoubtedly fear of what the world is like outside of the only home he's ever known. This is the resilience of man. He walks towards the exit. Kristoff and Truman have a conversation for the first and last time.
Truman. Who are you? I am the creator. There's no more truth out there than there is in the world I created for you. I know you better than you know yourself.
Kristoff thinks he created Truman.
Never had a camera in my head.
He might have been able to manufacture everything around Truman, but Truman is who he is, and that's not something that Kristoff could ever control.
You can't leave, Truman. Talk to me. Well, say something, goddammit! You're on television! You're live to the whole world!
No better response could he give than the one he gives Kristoff before he leaves.
In case I don't see ya. Good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Yeah.
He gives Kristoff one last performance, one last taste of his face before he leaves for good. Truman leaves, and we see one last time the audience all around the world rejoice and cheer that he's finally made it out. And then they turn the channel.
What else is on?
Yeah, let's see what else.
Where's the TV guy?
What a beautiful movie. Oh my goodness. I'm so happy I got to talk about this today, you guys. It's, I've been wanting to talk about The Truman Show probably ever since I saw the movie. I always wanted to do something like this because it's one of my favorite movies of all time for obvious reasons. Okay, I know that you've heard about The Truman Show at this point. I'm only like 3 decades late to the party. But can we talk about how scary this movie is aging? Like, the concept of filming a baby from birth to death essentially should be like a crazy, dystopian, otherworldly concept. And yet we have children coming out today with their own testimonies of like strikingly, scarily similar experiences in their own lives and how deeply affected they were by these experiences. So let's just all pray that parents can be parents, people can be good and not evil and disgusting. and that kids can just be kids and not products. So anyways, thank you for watching. Please comment down below any thoughts you might have, even if you disagree with me at any point. Please just let me know. Just let me know. Like the video if you liked it. Subscribe, please. That would be super cool. Anyways, justice for Paul Giamatti and justice for Truman Burbank. Bye.